institutions that have been around as long as the Cedar Rapids Public Library have had a traumatic or spooky event occur within their walls. On the evening of July 29, 1921, the most violent event in library history took place. John Brooksmith, an electrician and inventor living with his mother and sisters, left his home to visit a female friend living in Kenwood. As he reached the Yanhus Church, where a group of boys were playing softball, he was hit in the head with a ball, which knocked off his hat. He became agitated when one of the Bohemian boys approached him. In response, Brooksmith drew a .45 caliber automatic pistol from his hip pocket. He used the weapon to threaten the boys. He then boarded a streetcar, placing the barrel of his pistol in the arm of the driver, telling him to get going. The driver continued his route, and panic arose within the streetcar. Some boys exited the back of the streetcar and alerted the police. When the streetcar stopped at 3rd Street and 3rd Avenue, Detective Al Makota met the streetcar. As Makota boarded, Brooksmith demanded Makota get out of his way, threatening him with his gun. Brooksmith got off the streetcar and headed north on 3rd Avenue, followed by Makota and police officer William Milkey, who joined the pursuit. Brooksmith hid in the alley and shot at his pursuers, missing and then hitting Milkey in the leg, knocking him down. A crowd began to form and follow Brooksmith as he headed through the alleys and a restaurant, setting his sights on the library. Thankfully, due to all the commotion, library assistant Alta Bhutan was able to hide with her 2 young patrons under a table in the children's area as Brooksmith entered the main entrance of the library. Once inside the library, Brooksmith headed toward the back, going up the stairs toward the art gallery. He decided to stand his ground on the dark landing upon discovering that the doors were locked. Off-duty police officer Francis Wilson and police officer James Bailey entered the library from a side door on 5th Street. Bailey and Wilson went up the back stairs where they approached Brooksmith, whom they could barely see with their guns drawn. Brooksmith opened fire, hitting Bailey in his billy club and then his leg. Upon being hit, Bailey retreated back down the stairs. Wilson advanced on Brooksmith, and Brooksmith shot Wilson once in the abdomen and then 3 times in the head. Wilson died nearly instantaneously. Minutes later, Rock Island Railroad traffic police officer Frank Redmond pulled his gun and charged up the front stairs of the library. Minutes later, Rock Island Railroad traffic police officer Frank Redmond pulled his gun and charged up the front steps of the library. He fought with Brooksmith, calling for assistance from Makota. Brooksmith was eventually subdued by the 2 police officers. Brooksmith was held without bond for first-degree murder until his trial on August 2nd. The trial concluded unexpectedly, with Brooksmith pleading guilty to second-degree murder. He was given and served a life sentence, avoiding the death penalty. While the library hopes never to be the scene of such a horrific crime again, the Carnegie Building, which used to house the public library, is considered haunted. The haunting occurred in the 1960s. There are a couple of accounts circulating about an elderly woman who frequented the library showing up after she had been found dead the previous day. Most state the woman died unexpectedly in a fire. In another account, the woman who perished was Hazel Bryan McGrew. 3 library employees saw McGrew, a regular visitor to the library, when they came down from the balcony where newspapers were stored. It wasn't until the afternoon newspaper arrived that they learned that Hazel had died in a tragic fire the evening before. Unlike Stein, there are many news stories covering the tragic fire that killed McGrew. In fact, the story made front-page news on Wednesday, October 10, 1962. While it is impossible to prove the truth of these sightings, the stories both agree that the library continues to remain an important resource worth a visit even after death. Though the library has moved out of the Carnegie Building, it strives to connect with and provide the same level and service to its community.